Hello again. This is the second video lesson for Unit 8 for the geometry class, simplifying radicals, and day 1 of the geometric means notes. So just like the last unit video, you have to fill in the chart with your numbers. So let's quickly do that. The more you do it, the better off you'll be at it. So 2 times 2 is 4. 3 times 3, 9. 4 times 4, 16. 5 times 5, 25. 6 times 6, 36. 7 times 7, 49. 8 times 8, 64. 9 times 9, 81. 10 times 10, 100. 11 times 11, 121. 12 times 12, 144. 13 times 13, 169. 14 times 14, 196. 15 times 15, 225. 16 times 16, 256. 17's, 289. 18, 324. 19, 361. 20, that's an easy one, 400. Then 21 is 421. 441, sorry. 22 is 484. 23, 529. 24, 576. And last but not least, another easy one, 625 for 25 times 25. Said the more you know those, the easier it will be to simplify. So the first skill that we're looking at before we get to the geometric means part is simplifying these once again. So remember the skill that we had? We have 12 times, this is root 12 times root 12 because of the squared. You can see that. You know that's the same root, so the answer ends up being just 12. The next one, it looks like we're going to be changing because there's adding and subtracting. The two terms that look like they're the same are the 6 and the negative 2. That'll become 4. And then you cannot add the 3 because it has the root 10 next to it. Okay. 90. We did that one in the last one. We got root 9 times 10. 9 times 10 gives me 90. So the root 9 becomes 3 with a root 10. Oh, I like the next one. The next one we have a 4 root 2, a negative root 2, and a 7 root 2. Well, what does that mean? That means that this is a negative 1 here. So they all have the same root. So we can do 4 minus 1 at 3 plus 7. We're at 10 root 2 for our final answer. Number 5, we have two different roots. We're multiplying them. Remember, the outside numbers with outside numbers, the inside roots with the inside roots. So we get root 36, and that's a good one because that's on our chart as 6. Remember, no decimal answers, so we're not using our calculator. We're using our chart that we had above. 6 and 7 are just like number 5. When you do 18 times 3, right, you get root 54. And then we can use our chart to break that up to root 9 and root 6 to get 3 root 6. 19 times 2, same root, so we can get root 38. And what's nice about root 38, we can't get anything to it. 4 doesn't go into it, 9 doesn't go into it, 16 doesn't go into it, 25 doesn't go into it, neither does 36, and now we're too high. Next one, do the math first before you start combining. We got a root 4, we got a 4 squared, so we can do 4 squared. So that'll turn into 16. And then we're minusing, and we discussed this is root 4 2 times. So root 4 times root 4 is just the number 4. Now you will notice that these two are whole numbers, but wait a second, what's the square root of 4? 2. So then now you can combine that 2 as well. So we got 2 plus 16, we're at 18, minus 4, end up at 14. Next one, number 9. Numbers with numbers. This number is a 1, so that's a 3 times 1. And then we get root 3 times root 6, which is root 18. Can't be done because what goes into root 18? 9 and 2. Bring down the 3. So we get 3 times root 2. Final answer, 9 root 2. And number 10, we got 5 times 3, which ends up being 15. And root 10 times root 10, we all know the short truck now, but the square root of 100 would be 10. So 15 times 10, final answer, 150. All right, we're cruising. Keep going. So here we got a 3 on the outside, and we discussed root 5 times root 5. Squared is 5. So we get 15. We could do the next one, 3 root 5 times 3 root 5. There's 2 of them because of the power of 2. So that's 9 times 5, which is 45. If I'm going too fast, slow it down, pause it, okay? But the more you do these, the better off you'll get at them. So 4 times 7 gives me 28. The negative 5 will come down. It's all being multiplied. The root 4 becomes a 2. So we get negative 10 root 7 for my final answer. Root 16, 4 becomes 16 times 16. You can look at your chart. That's 256. Add 4 to that, you get 260. And last but not least in this row, there's a 1 in front of this root 2. We're multiplying them, so 4 times 1 is 4. Root 2 times root 3 is root 6, and we can't go any further because 4 doesn't go into my root. 16. We got root 84 times root 84, which you know is just 84. Root 5 times root 20. Remember, roots with roots. Outside numbers with outside numbers. So that becomes 100. Root it, get 10. Same concept, get root 72. Not as nice as root 100, but you can break this up into root 36 and root 2. So 6 root 2 becomes the final answer. 12 and 2, we get root 24. So that becomes root 4 and root 6 from our chart. So 2 root 6. And last but not least, over here we have the 4 outside. The root 18 breaks up into root 9 and root 2. Bring down the 4. Root 9 becomes a 3. Root 2 stays, so we get 12 root 2 for that final answer. Why don't you pause the video and try to do the next 10 on your own, and then start it up again and see how well you did, all right? So to go into hyper mode here, so we get a 1 in front of here. 3 times 1 is 3. Root 18 times root 2 is root 36. Root 36 becomes 6. And then 3 times 6 becomes 18. Next one, outside numbers with outside numbers. 5 times 3 is 15. And root 6 times root 6 is root 36. That becomes 6. We do 15 times 6, 90, final answer. Next one, oh, careful now. Look, same numbers, but it's a plus sign here. So can we add a 5 root 6 and a 3 root 6? Yes, because they're the same root. We get 8 root 6. Hopefully you got that. Next one, oh, back to multiplication. So we could do 2 times 8, 16, and root 5 times root 5 is root 25, which you should have figured out by now is just 5. And then you're going to get 80 for that answer. And 25 is just like the combo of 22, 23, where these are now added. They are the same root, so we get 10 root 5. Finishing up, they're being subtracted. They are the same root, so you get 5 root 7. There's a 1 in front of this root 3, so that's 10 times root 9, which becomes 3. 10 times 3, 30. There's 6 root 3 times 6 root 3. So that's 36 times 3, which is 108. There's difference. The 6 is not being multiplied twice. So it's 6, and then it's root 3 times root 3. So that becomes 3 times 6, which is 18. Check out the 2 there. So I don't want to see people screwing that up in the unit. Okay, you have to tend to your precision. You have to be careful with your mathematical skills. And last but not least, that root 8 turns into root 4, root 2. So it's 2 root 2, and that 4 came down as well. Final answer, 8 root 2. All right. Now for some new stuff. So we have this idea called geometric means. Geometric means of two positive numbers, a and b, in this example here, such that these two end up being the same. So that x squared, when you cross multiply, becomes a times b. And how do you solve that? You take the square root of it. So what do I mean for example 1? For example 1 here, you're going to set up, here's your numbers. So we get 4 over x equals x over 25. Cross multiply, you get x squared equals 100. Take the root of it. Your reduced radical form is 10. You don't have to get a decimal because there's no decimal answer for 10. Next one. You have 2 over x equals x over 8. Cross multiply. X squared equals 16. Square root it. Answer is 4. Next one, we got 6 and 9. So we got 6 over x equals x over 9. Cross multiply, x squared equals 54. Take the square root. And we actually can get root 9 and root 6. So this becomes 3 root 6. If I go to my calculator and put in root 54, try that now, you should have a calculator out. You get approximately, and it says to the nearest 10, so how many decimal places is that? 1, good. 7.3. And last but not least, we have 3 over x to find the geometric means, and x over 24. Cross multiply, x squared is equal to 72. Root it, and we actually did this on the front side, which becomes root 36 and root 2. So it's 6 roots of 2. And decimal-wise, because you got your calculator, try it out, 8.5. So the last skill is geometric means with inside of a triangle. Okay, so you can see the height is a geometric proportion to the two triangles on the side of a right triangle with this is an altitude to that hypotenuse. Okay, so we're going to try and set up a proportion using these. So this is the shear side between this triangle on the left and the triangle on the right. So that ends up being the geometric means. So that goes H and H, and X and Y are your cross products. In this next example, C is your whole base here. So if you're trying to do the big triangle to the small triangle, B can be a shared side between the big triangle here and the small triangle on the left. So that could be your geometric means between the big triangle side of C and the small triangle X. Or, if I switch colors here, A could be the shared side to the medium triangle on the right and the big triangle with the C side. So A could be the geometric means between the side of Y and the side of C as well. So this becomes a challenge. So use this skill in these. So look for that shared side. So here is the shared side between what two triangles? The triangle on the left here and the triangle on the right. The only reason you use this rule is because you have a right triangle and you have the altitude to the hypotenuse, the right angle. The box tells you that. So z is the geometric means. So that goes here and here. The small triangle is a 1 and an 8. You multiply it. You get z squared is equal to 8. Root it. You get 2 root 2 for z. Okay. Look again. Oh, x is the shared side between what two triangles? The one on the left, which is base of 2, and the one on the right, which is a base of 5. So x is my geometric means between the 2 and the 5. So x squared is equal to 10 when I cross multiply. Root it. And x equals root 10. The exact value is better than decimal, so in this case, we'll just leave it as root 10. The third example, we have x. Here again is my geometric means between what? The small one and the medium one on the right. So we got x at 3 and 12 is the two sides. So x squared is equal to 36. Root it. X equals 6 for that height, for the altitude to the hypotenuse. All right. Number 8. Number 8 looks like we can find x first. We have multiple missing pieces because I see that 16 looks like the shared side between this side and this side. And because we have one of those numbers and only one variable, that's how you want to do it. You don't want to try and set up a system here. Okay, you want to try to solve it as easy as possible. So 16 is my geometric means between the medium and the small. So for x, we can get 16 as my geometric means for 8 and x. So this time when we cross multiply, we're not going to get an x squared. We're going to get 8x is equal to 256 and divide by 8, so we get 32. So this number right here is 32. Now we can find different ones. So let's go y next. So y is over here. Y is the shared side between the medium triangle and the large triangle. See, it's the side for the medium triangle and the large triangle. Okay? Which means that the y in this case is the geometric means between the medium triangle, which is 32, and the large triangle, which we don't have, but we can add 8 and 32 to get 40. Cross multiply, y squared is equal to 1,280. Root it. And if we root it right and you use your chart, you get root 256 and root 5. So that becomes 16 root 5 for this side here. And last but not least, z. Z is over here. It's between the small one and the large one. So z is the geometric means between the small one, which is 8, and the large one, which was 40 from the last example. Z squared is equal to 320. Root it, which means it's root 64 and root 5. So we get 8 root 5 for the last side. At this point in time, what I would do is I would pause the video and try number 9 on your own to see how well you did. Okay, so please do that right now and try it. Okay? Don't cheat yourself. Okay, you want to make sure that you're understanding this material. So if I start out, 12 is the shared side between these two. So that's going to help me find x. So 12 is my geometric means. It's the shared side between x and 9. Cross multiply. 9x equals 144. Divide by 9. That gives me 16. So this little piece is 16. That is the hypotenuse. So we know that we can get this side right here because we needed it last time. By adding them up, that's going to be 25. So let's do it right now to help us later on. Let's say we want y next. Y is the shared side here between this medium one. Follow the pen if you haven't figured it out yet. To the very large one here. So it's the shared side. It's the shared side when you physically look at the drawing. So y goes here and here. And then what do you have? You have the medium one, so that's 16. And you have the large side, which is 25. Cross multiply. Y squared is equal to 400. Ah, that's a nice one. So y equals 220 for the y side. And last but not least, the z side over here between the small and the large. So z is the shared side between 9 and 25. So z squared is equal to 225 and another one on our chart. So it's 15. Hopefully you got something out of this video. I know it was a little long, but it will help you later on with your skills throughout the rest of this unit and the semester that you have to complete. Have a great day.